Hello, students. Let's read this problem together. The graph below shows the number of pairs of shoes sold by 2 employees during 5 weeks of training. Based on the graph, which statement is true? Now that we have read the problem and we've highlighted the important information, let's go ahead and box in our question. We are looking for a true statement. Let's take the information in the graph and pull out the important points. I like to write the numbers actually on top of the bar so that it is easier for me to compare the graph. So I have 80, and I'm going to write all of Camila's in one color. And I have 60, and the third week she had in between 60 and 80, that would be 70. And in the fourth week, 60. And in the fifth week, just above 80 but below 100, that would be 90. And then for Deanna, I'm going to use the green. And we have also 80 for the first week, but on the second week, she had 90. For the third week, she had 100. For the fourth week, Deanna had 80. And for the fifth week, she had 80. Okay, and now another thing that I want to do as I'm here trying to elaborate and get the important parts of this information from the bar graph, I also want, this is a double bar graph, and so I'm going to have two totals, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I know the total. So I'm going to put them right here next to Camila and get her total. So that would be 80 plus 60 plus 70 plus 60 plus 90. Okay, and I've add all that up. That's going to be 360 for Camila. Now let's find the total number of pairs sold by Deanna. So now we're going to add the gray bars, which was 80, 90, 100, 80, and 80. So 8 times 4 is 32, and then that one extra one is 33. 3 plus 1 is 4. So Deanna is 430. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at the statements and see what else we might need to look at in terms of information given to us in the bar graph. So the first statement says Camila sold 380 pairs of shoes in 5 weeks. So we already have that information. We added all of the pairs of shoes that Camila sold for the 5 weeks, and we got 360, not 380. So A is out. Okay, so let's look at letter B. The number of pairs of shoes sold by Camila in the first 2 weeks is greater than the number of pairs of shoes sold by Deanna in the same 2 weeks. Okay, so the first 2 weeks, we didn't do that. So we're going to have to go ahead and find the sum. So for Camila, the first 2 weeks is 80 plus 60, which is 140. And then in the first 2 weeks for Deanna, that would be the gray bar, that would be 80 and 90. And that would equal 170. So is 140 greater than 170? No, it is not. Very good. So now we're going to try letter C. And it says Camila and Deanna sold the same number of shoes in 5 weeks. We already have that information. We said that Camila sold 360 pairs of shoes. while Deanna sold 430 pairs of shoes. So that is definitely not the same. So we have one more statement. So let's look at it. Camila sold less pair of shoes in the second and fifth week. So let's look at Camila. Remember, Camila are the black bars. For the second week, Camila sold 60. And for the fifth week, Camila sold, remember that's the black bar, so on the fifth week, that would be 90. So 60 plus 90, that will be 150. And now we're going to look at Deanne's sales for the first and fourth week. So let's be careful. And let's make sure we get the first week. Deanna is the gray bar. That would be 80. And then the fourth week, that would be another 80. And that's 160. Okay, so the comparison statement is Camila sold less pairs in the first. So is, in other words, 150. Camila sold less pairs of shoes during these second and fifth week than Deanne did in the first and fourth week. So is 150 less than 160? Let me write it again right here. Is 150 less than 160? Yes, that is true. So the correct answer is D. We found our true statement. Camila sold less pairs of shoes in the second and fifth week than Deanna sold in the first and fourth week.